The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 34. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook by visiting thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And in today's episode, I have a special lady who's actually in Japan right now. So you can imagine what the time difference is. It's like 6:30 here in Toronto, and it's in the morning, and it's like 7:30 in the evening in Japan. So, we just learn to make things work, especially if I want to bring in amazing women with awesome stories to share. So this woman is a teacher-preneur, and like I said, she's from Japan, and her name is Queenie Kawabe. And Queenie, welcome to the show. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about what you do.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much to have me here on this show. I'm actually a teacher-preneur, and I have been teaching foreign languages to people from all walks of life since 2006. And I speak 5 languages. I speak English, Chinese, Japanese, Cantonese, and Bahasa. And I actually originally from Malaysia, but I actually moved to Australia, and now I'm actually in Japan. So I travel a lot, and I can't believe I'm actually living in the 3rd country right now. This is my 3rd country. And I love what I do, and I teach a lot, and I would love to share my experience with other women, how they can actually find their confidence, because to be very honest to you, my confidence doesn't come very easily, not along the journey.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And you mentioned you're from Malaysia, so you're Malaysian?
Yes, I am actually Malaysian, but because I moved to Australia, so I kind of have the 2 dual citizens, and not many people know that I'm Malaysian, because from my appearance, people don't actually believe that I'm from there. So lots of people will actually guess I'm from either Japan, but my dad is Japanese, so my mom is actually Malaysian Chinese.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. So, Queenie, I just wanted to ask you, what is your favorite self-confidence quote?
Well, I have this quote that I always use, like, why should I care what other people think of me? I am who I am, and I want to be who I want to be. Because confidence doesn't come very easily for me when I was a child. And when I was a little girl, my mom told me that I lack of confidence. I want to do what I want to do, but I'm always afraid of what people think of me. And from there on, it's actually stopped me doing something that I want. So what happened is that when I was a kid, I feel terrified. Like, whatever I want to do, I always scared. I always think about, oh my God, he's going to, think of me like this, and he might think about me like, oh, I'm going to be so horrible in doing this. So the confidence really struggled. Like when I was, I remember when I was a kid. I remember when I was like age of 7, I was all by myself, and I hardly mingle around with other students or other kids. And I don't know. I just feel that like I always think of what other people think of me, and from then on, I just think, oh, how can I improve myself? But I have to say, this doesn't come easily. Sometimes I'm still struggling right now, like what I'm doing. But I have to say, I had lots of experience, like all my students that gave me, and they keep telling me that, Queenie, you're good at what you're doing right now. That's like the later on journey. But at the beginning, it's so difficult for me. But this is actually my favorite quote. I always use it, like, why should I care what other people think of me? Like, I am who I am and who I want to be.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think as Asian women, it's really challenging not care about what people think, because we've been told for so long what to do, how to dress, how to talk, how to pretty much stand. So I'm sure the listeners can relate, right? It's like, oh my God, what if my parents think I'm nuts, or what if my boyfriend thinks I'm nuts? Things like that, right?
Yes. It's so difficult. Like the confidence, it's just, whenever I see the confidence, it's always like, it drives me crazy. It's just because in Asian country, like, you don't get the confidence that you want, because it's so strange how people, they always talk bad about you. Because I was born in Malaysia, but wasn't fully grow up there because I moved to Australia when I was a teenager, and things got changed from there on, and that's where I pick up my confidence. It's so different when you're in Asian country and the way they look at you, the way they think of you. I don't get it. Up to today, I just don't understand why they want to trash your confidence. So that's something I find I'm very difficult to deal with when I was a lot younger.
I can agree with you. I mean, for me, the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast was to show women out there that, be confident and be able to live life on your own terms. So thanks for sharing that. And what would be your definition of self-confidence?
Well, it's quite a tough question, actually, because my definition of self-confidence is, well, I have to say, when I love what I do, but like now I would say my self-confidence, it would be the way I have to tell myself, like, if I want to be a winner, I have to pass through all the obstacles, all the challenges, and the only person that can do it, it's me. So I need to keep telling myself that the confidence that I need to have, like really desperately, like if I want to get it done, I need to be very confident in it. If I always tell other people, like when they're lack of confidence, I can see it, and I always say to them, it's like, if you want to be a winner, you need to have this confidence in you. And if you can walk past it, you can, you're the winner. You're on top of the world. But if you're not, then you just have to say to yourself that you need to find a way to get it out there. So the way I see my definition as self-confidence is the winner. That's the mini Queenie in me that always struggling and keep talking to me, and it's like, yep, you have to do this, you have to do it. And recently I just started bouldering. So it was my first time when I did it, and I was struggling. I was so scared because I was afraid of height, and that's where the confidence comes in again. It's like, gosh, it's like, you want to get this, you want to get the result, you need to really climb the wall and just be on top of it. And that's where I feel that I can control the world and I can control myself, and that's where it gives me the confidence that I wanted.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing your definition. And yeah, sometimes, it's just pretty much overcoming those hurdles, because we all have them, right?
Yeah.
The only way to get over them is to just do it. So
it's just have to do it. It's like, this is what Nike says, like, just do it. Like, it's because what I realized from there, because this is a new hobbies that I'm having right now, like bouldering, it's really challenging, and the strength, confidence, because I'm the one who's on top of it, and there's nothing. It's just by hand, and there's no strange, nothing. It's just there's no route for me to do it. It's just pretty much, it's just you have to get it by hand and climb it on top. And sometimes you're just shivering on top of it. It's like, oh my god, it's so high. Because I really have phobia of height, but it's really good because it gives me the confidence that you want to get it done, you just have to do it. And that's how I actually built the confidence from there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. So, Queenie, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Oh gosh, it's actually, I should say my life was just, it's very different. I would say I'm not shy, but I'm actually quite difficult, because I'm actually quite outgoing. I spoke with people, I talk a lot, but it's very strange. Before I discovered it, I always have this thing, it's like, what other people think about me? And it's so strange, and I would actually build a wall between me and them, and kind of like self-protect. I don't know why I would have that, like, just comes in instantly and say, oh my god, like, I meet a new friends, and I'm just so afraid what he or she is going to think about me. And that sort of life I have, and I often feel terrified. My whole life has just been thinking, like, what he or she's think of me. And I don't know why I always have this little person keep talking to me that's always like, the angel and the evils, like they always say, no, you should do this, no, you should do that, like that sort of talking right in my head, and it's always driving me crazy. And that's kind of like I always have, and I find it's very tiring. And also my friend, actually a few friends of mine also say that, Queenie, you need to be relaxed, like you should be more confident, you should trust people, and that's how you open up yourself. But to me, I don't know why, it's just so difficult, because when I was in high school, I was kind of bullied by, teenage girl, and from there it's kind of like they trash my confidence. Whatever I do, they just never like it. And I don't know why. Sometimes people are just jealous about you. I just don't get it. When I was a kid, they always pick on me, and anything they can pick on. I just find it very curious why people would do that, and because of that reason I kind of like built myself from there. So when I went to college, and again people just sort of like, they didn't bully me, but because of what happened in high school, it's actually carried on in college. And also when I was in college, I still talk with people, but I still have the wall in between me and them. It actually took me for 7 years to actually get rid of that wall, and now I feel a lot more confident, like to say, hey, what I'm doing, I'm more confident to tell people who I am, what I do. And I find that, wow, I should have done this like 10 years ago. Why it took me 7 years to get rid of the wall? So that sort of life I have before I discover my self-confidence.
Thanks for sharing that. And sometimes it might take some time for us to realize or to face our fears or to face anything, right? I mean, even me, when I started just being on the internet, it took me a while to just even show myself out there because I was always so afraid. So, I mean, I think it's just we all go through, right? We're just so scared of what people think because we've been conditioned so much, to just, you got to please people. You got to make sure that you don't rock the boat with anybody. And, it's 2015. We have to start, especially as women, to start thinking for ourselves in the process as well. We can't just lose ourselves always pleasing other people.
Yes, I agree with you. It's just so difficult because it just drives me crazy back then. I just don't know why. There's always like a group of people that are very negative, and there's a group of people that are very positive. I think it's very important that who we hang out sometime, because it influences you and will actually think of, oh yeah, I am not who I am. I don't understand. People still out there, and I agree with you because I have to tell you, a little bit secret, because I actually started blogging 10 years ago. But something happened and people, social bully and things like that, it got trash again. It's like, oh my goodness. And I was like, it happened again because I thought I found a hole, and I thought I'm going to start new with all this internet, online world. And guess what? People started to talk about me, and that's where I feel terrified. And I was like, oh my God, it's all starting all over again. And from then on, I stopped blogging, and I actually started for a year. It went well, and something happened. It got trash again, and I was like, and I stopped. And now I was like, oh, it's just a waste. It's just, gosh, I wish I had that confidence that time to actually just push myself to go forward all this negative feedbacks and don't care what other people think. But yeah, that was like my self-confidence, how I discovered it.
Well, thanks for sharing that. So what was that aha moment when you realized, that wall that was in between you were able to just tear it down or break it down so you could go on the other side and start being more confident?
It's actually quite strange how it started because, well, I moved to Australia when I was a teenager, and I actually started looking at different perspectives, and because of the culture, they're very different. And what I noticed is that in the Western country, a lot of parents, a lot of teenage Westerner, they're given all those confidence that you say, no, just keep doing it, even though you're wrong or right, but they push you to go forward. And I'm still very terrified at that time. It's like my aha moment didn't actually come in that time because I'm just not sure. And I had this talent. Actually, I discovered it when I was age of 16. Actually, it was my friend discovered it, and then she told me, they say, hey, Queenie, you should be a teacher. I'm like, no way. I would not be like a teacher. I would be anything but teacher. And I can't believe jinx, it happened. Now I'm a teacher, and I can't believe I'm a qualified teacher, and I got a certificate with it. But look back 10 years ago, like 12 years ago, it's just like, wow, I just say that. But the reason why, because at that time, the only confidence it gives to me is like by teaching people. So I taught my friends, and they always ask me questions, and I slowly pick it up the confidence from there. Still that little pieces from here and there, but I'm still very terrified because when people ask me questions, when I give the wrong information, and that's where I start thinking, oh my God, is it the wrong thing I say it? Is it the wrong information that I give it? But the confidence would just slowly like grown, and I find it people still always come back to me, ask me a question and say, hey Queenie, how do you do this? How do you solve this question? And can you explain this to me? Because I speak 5 languages, and I think because of that advantage that I have, I can understand easily what other people think. So if someone speaks 2 or 3 languages, I can switch languages over and explain things to them, and they feel more comfortable that way. And that's where I noticed that, okay, I can see myself, I'm useful, and people are actually quite happy with the outcome, and they're very happy with what I'm giving them, the values. So that's why slowly, gradually, like, it's still like, it took me like years to get rid of the walls and everything, but still, I think the work, actually, the aha moment is really my job that actually gives me the confidence. And that's where, like, I was still terrified. I started teaching, I think 10 years ago, yeah. And that's where my student, I still was afraid. And I'm not sure if like I'm teaching the right thing. But I find that students like often come back, and what happened is that now I've taught more than like 1,000 students through a variety of different education organizations. I've taught in uni, kindergarten, secondary, and I've taught people from all walks of life. And that's the confidence that I have. I feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes I still doubt about myself, and that's where my friends would jump in and say, hey, Queenie, don't even think about that. And it's like, you should be confident. You should be proud of yourself, who you are right now. Like, you have been through all this, and you have taught so many students. Like, imagine that you have taught thousands of students, like, in class, online, and you give like lesson at uni. And how cool is that? No one actually have done that, and you did it. And people are actually speaking a second language because you give them the knowledge, and you should be proud of that. And because of that, that's where the confidence comes in. And like, okay, I know I'm good at this, and this is what I should, build the confidence using this and help more people. And that's where the aha moment, I'm like, yep, that's what I'm doing. So constantly I'm still telling myself that this is what I should remember. Like, I'm helping people. I want to give people something, a lifelong skill, like a second language that they can actually use it. They can actually expand their client reach, or they can actually, how should I say, to actually build their, like, have a better career in life. That's something I want them to have a better life in the future. So that's confidence I have, that I need. And that's how I actually pass it on. So I actually have to say thanks to my students. They are the one who give it to me. They trust me, and that's why I need to trust myself even more. So that's where I have the confidence. It's actually from them to show it to me, so I built there. So that's where my wall is actually torn right now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that amazing aha moment. And it's true, sometimes you just need some people to believe in you and just see that how much you've changed your life. It's a great feeling. So
yes.
What's your life like after now?
Well, I have to say it's great. I recently moved to Japan, and I'm meeting new people, and I discover lots of new culture. I mentioned my dad is Japanese. I have never lived in Japan, though I travel a lot. I find that right now people believe in me. And when I went to any job interview, especially for teaching, I just be more confident. And I will actually tell people, when they ask me questions, I find that I can answer all their questions. How difficult it is when you interview, and there's some sort of question like you never thought of it, and they will actually ask you, and I can just easily respond it. And I'm actually quite happy because like people, like some of the organization, they want me to teach at their school, or they want to introduce me to other schools to help their students to learn better English or conversation, because in Japan it's they speak Japanese, and not many Japanese speak English. So I find that right now my life is a lot more happier and more confident. And also I noticed that I find that I don't feel scared anymore, and I don't actually care what people think of me, because I think it's good that should have some haters, because like a singer, there's always, you have a good fan and you have someone who doesn't like the singer. It makes sense, because there's always good and bad. If you're standing in a neutral line, that means you're nobody, and because you try to be good for both sides, and that's not going to work, because you can't please everyone and you can't make everyone happy. That should be someone who is like really truly trust, believe you. And there's always some evils, like some bad people who always think that, oh, you're not good. It makes sense because I like vanilla. I don't really like chocolate. That makes sense. So I believe that now all I think is that my life is good. This is who I am. You either like me or you hate me. I don't care. It's just who I am because this is my life. This is my chapter. This is my journey. Because when I'm in trouble, you're not going to be there to help me. When I feel happy, you might think, oh, she's just pretending. There's some people who just want to, I don't know, they're so free. They always think about you. They gossip about you. I have no idea what their life like. But all I know is that this is my journey. And this is what I should care about myself and also take care of what other people wants to, be like in the future. So this is my life right now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And you know what? We can never please everybody, so we might as well just live life according to our own terms.
Yes. I know. It's just so difficult because, I don't know, when we were young, we were told that, you need to please this people, that people. I mean, now, I don't know, in Asian country, they always have this issue, like, you should always show respect, like, try to make them happy. I mean, I agree with that, but how can I make everyone happy? I don't know how that life like, but because I travel a lot and that really opens up my world, unlock lots of things. So it's quite difficult for me to go back to that very basic stage where, you should do what you're told to do. Like, I can't do that anymore.
It's okay. I feel the same way. So, Queenie, to the woman who's listening to your episode, if there was one tip you would want to give her in her own journey to self-confidence, what would it be?
Well, I would say believe in yourself, have faith, and be strong because it's not easy. I mean, like I say, self-confident, it's a long vocab and there's lots of words in it, alphabet, and I would say you have to believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to believe you. I know it's difficult, like I've been there, like sometimes I don't believe myself, but it is good to have someone like your friends or your partner or your husband or wife, just talk with them because they're the one who's closest to you and see, they're the one who know you better. Sometimes you can't see yourself because obviously you're in it, but you don't know who you really are. Like I was told that I was a very energetic girl and I always brings things alive. That's what I give people, but sometimes it's strange. I never thought of me is a person like this. So that actually gives them the confidence. Sometimes they say, Queenie, thanks, you gave me the confidence that I need. I would say, wow, I can't believe I just gave you the confidence. It's just subconsciously, I just gave it to a person. So that's why I say you have to believe in yourself and always think yourself as a winner. Tell yourself, if you really want to walk past this journey, you have to be a winner. If you can't, then you just have to find a way to get past it. Don't rush. It's not a race, it's a journey, it's a process. So that would be the advice I say, be strong, be confident, have faith in yourself. So that's the advice I would like to give all the ladies who's listening to your show, to your podcast.
Awesome. Well, that's some awesome advice. So thanks for sharing that. Mm-hmm. And Queenie, if the listeners want to get to know a little bit more about yourself, is there any website or links that we can check out?
Okay, yeah. Well, you can actually check out my website, queeniekawabe.com. Lots of people might misspell it. It's Queeniekawabe.com. And also currently I'm actually working on a new project. It's going to be called 3 Language Adventure. So how I actually use 3 languages in a day for my job, for my living, and for traveling. That's sort of new website that I'm actually currently doing. So it's good if you speak 2 or more languages because that's something I believe you speak 2 languages as well. Is that correct?
I speak about 3 languages, including English. Yeah.
Wow. So this is a good journey. So that's something I'm actually currently working on. So that's something I would like to share with all the ladies who is listening to this show right now.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that info. And to the listeners out there, just head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Queenie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Queenie for taking the time to share her story, share her journey with us. So, Queenie, thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that I can share my journey and to help more women, on their journeys. Like, they're not alone, so don't be afraid. Reach out to us, talk to us, and we'd love to share and help you.
Yes, that's for sure. That's why we're here, right? We're here to support you.
Yes.
So listeners, be on the lookout for a new episode, and I will talk to you later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Subscribe to The Tao of Self-Confidence on iTunes and Stitcher to hear more stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence.